It tends to be the left calling for censorship. It tends to be people who do not like Donald Trump calling for censorship. How many videos have I made about this? Because guess what? Once again, it's backfired on the left, and censorship is currently helping people on the right. Why don't these people learn that censorship doesn't work? I don't quite understand, but I've got a couple stories for you today talking about how an anti-Trump artist produced this art, which is very anti-Trump, got her Facebook account disabled outright. We also have an update on the Lauren Southern situation. Her documentary Borderless was just outright deleted. Really weird. She re-uploaded and now it's doing better than before. In a total Streisand effect, the censorship has helped Lauren. It's hurt this artist. But then we have the real ramifications. Actual documentaries from real journalists are getting restricted on YouTube. Jake Hanrahan is a legit journalist who's covered on the ground. And after reporting on the far left, he had his YouTube account basically restricted, and he had all the monetization removed. You're not allowed to do journalism. These are the real impact. So let's talk about it. Before we get started, check out timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a monthly donation option, a cryptocurrency option, a physical address, but of course, you can just share this video or like and comment because that engagement tells YouTube the video is good, and subscribe if you're so inclined. Let's take a look at this first story. Artist's Facebook disabled after posting MAGA hat collection. Just 10 minutes before we spoke over the phone, Baltimore area-based artist Kate Kretz received a call from Benicia's Jen Tuff Gallery. She said they want to show her art in an upcoming exhibition this July. Her work is called the MAGA Hat Collection. For those that can't see, if you're listening, the MAGA, she effectively took MAGA hats, or I believe one and some other red hats, and turned it into a Klan hood to make a point about how she doesn't like Donald Trump. Unfortunately, images of her work have led to her Facebook account to be disabled. Let me make one thing clear. The left says that hate speech needs to be banned. Do you think that when the to the activists, let me ask you this. Do you think that when you clamor about the problems on Facebook, Facebook sits there and thinks, you know what, they're right. These people should be banned for being hateful? No. Facebook convenes a meeting and says, I don't know or care. It's bad press. It's hurting our stock. Get rid of all of it. They don't care why you're posting the images. They're going to take you down because you cause bad press for them. Well, let's read on. I wanted to make sure I wasn't putting any money in Trump's pocket, Kretz said. She did shell out $25 for one, which she purchased on Trump's website. Now I'm on his mailing list. She said, explaining that it's good to know your enemies. The other deconstructed piece of MAGA ephemera is reconstructed into a Badman armband. This perhaps is what flagged Facebook to a possible hate speech situation after she posted images of her work on her profile page. So what happened to this activist? Well, she wanted to make a point using certain symbols. Too bad. It's unfortunate. Those symbols are censored. It doesn't matter if you're critical or simply doing your job. In fact, I have this tweet from Jake Hanrahan. Again, I'll stress, he is a journalist and filmmaker. He's worked with Vice News, and he said, had my account held ransom by Twitter and Jack for doing my job. This is the real ramifications of the censorship. The activists will get taken down for criticizing people, sure. They asked for it. But then legitimate journalists will get their accounts locked because they showed images and talked about something. Let me be clear. The people who use these symbols will just make a new symbol, and they'll have to keep playing cat and mouse trying to figure out what should or shouldn't be banned. The activists and journalists who try to show these symbols to prove things, to present facts, will get restricted. But let's talk about how it goes in the other direction. To all the people on the left who want to say, you know what, they believe that the far right, the fringe right should be banned. Do you know what happens when you ban them? It results in the Streisand effect, making them, getting them much more traffic. Lauren Southern, she is a journalist, activist, she's called far right, whatever you want to call her, that's besides the point. The point is, she made a documentary called Borderless, except this is what you're presented with when you try to click the link. It says, video unavailable, there's nothing here. So for those that aren't familiar, when she updated the video originally, I believe it was 2 days ago, no one got notified. The video didn't appear on her YouTube channel. You could search for it, but it wasn't on her channel. If you watched the video, it actually showed you it was part of her channel, but for some reason, no one was notified. Now, first I said, this clearly must be a glitch. Okay, it's a mistake. YouTube's making a mistake. They're not actively censoring Lauren. I still don't have proof they did, but hear me out. She then posted a community message, right? So it's not the video, it's a different post. No one got that either. Well, that's different. You could argue something happened to her upload where no one got notified and didn't appear, but to not get the community post about it was also very, very weird. Still, maybe it's all a mistake, right? Except then less than 24 hours later, the video was just outright removed. It's just gone. Now again, there's still a possibility it's all a mistake, but Team YouTube on Twitter knew about it. Then it gets really weird. We have a story from Human Events. Will Chamberlain writes, Lauren Southern's Borderless deleted by YouTube, enough. He said YouTube removed Lauren Southern's new documentary Borderless from its platform less than 24 hours after Southern made it available to the general public. No explanation was given because no explanation has to be given. He says perhaps we should change that. Now, Will Chamberlain of Human Events has repeatedly argued platform access should be a civil right and this shouldn't happen. Regardless of your position on whether or not there should be regulation, if you're on the left, I can give you one good reason as to why, yes, perhaps they shouldn't be able to just remove her documentary. If you don't like Lauren's documentary and you think people shouldn't see it, the last thing you should do is try to censor it because Lauren re-uploaded the documentary. It got way more traction and way more views in a shorter amount of time. Now, I will say her video was throttled. No one was getting notified. And within about, I believe, 24 hours, less than 24 hours, it had 64,000 views. That's when I checked up on it. And that's really low considering Lauren has 712,000 subscribers. Why did no one see the video? Well, whatever the reason was, the video's gone now. As I showed you, the video is just outright gone. But on the new video, it has 336,000 views as of right now. In fact, one of the top comments says, I only heard of this doc because of a report that it's being censored. The next comment, YouTube censor is the only reason I'm watching. I think maybe it backfired for their agenda. Now, I still don't think, I still don't want to believe that someone at YouTube pushed their thumb on the scale to negatively impact the release of this video. But here's a potential scenario as to why this artist who got suspended on Facebook isn't going to get the same traction as Lauren will. Conservatives are being censored much more than liberals are. They're more conservative. It's a fact. Quillette published a piece where they did an analysis of high-profile accounts on Twitter that were suspended. 21 of 22 were on one side of the debate. I believe one that got suspended was Rose McGowan, I think, because she published a phone number. The rest were all people for innocuous reasons. People who challenge mainstream leftist orthodoxy are more likely to get suspended. That's just recognizable at this point. When you have story after story where even Facebook employees say they suppressed conservative news, that's just what's happening. So here's what happens. Lauren puts up her documentary, and this is just a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying it's true, but it's my only potential explanation as to what happened. All it takes is one activist at YouTube who thinks, I'm going to screw with this video so that people can't see it. They want to throttle it. If no one came to the defense of Lauren, that would have been the end of it. But here's the thing. Conservatives have been impacted by this so much, by censorship, that you end up with these articles saying, enough, this is a civil right. So much attention is brought to the fact that Lauren's documentary is being restricted that it creates a massive surge in interest of people saying, why was it censored? I want to watch it. And then sure enough, Lauren's video gets reposted with way more traction. So take a look at this. On my screen, you can see the analytics. Lauren's original post only had 15 posts and about 700 upvotes on Reddit. After she re-uploaded it, 25 posts with 3,428 upvotes, giving the video way more traction. When conservatives get banned, they're used to it. They say, enough. They write articles demanding civil rights for platform access, that the platform access is a civil right. But when the left gets censored, they're not coming out to defend those, for the most part. Some do. In fact, it's typically conservatives who call this out. But I think there's one problem for the left. As sort of a matter of pride, they don't rush to the defense of those who are getting censored all the time. They do. They definitely do. But I think it's much less pronounced. Now, Fox KTVU wrote about this artist. Let's conclude this. Let's see how they conclude. They say, for now, as for the past 2 weeks, she has checked in with Facebook every morning and fills out a form to have her page reviewed. I keep hoping that a new person gets it. I haven't accepted the fact that my page is gone. The way I'm being treated makes me feel like they don't understand how their users are using their platform. Well, when the left when it's the left calling for censorship, when it's the left saying hate speech should be banned, do not be surprised that weeks go by with your page being disabled. We're entering election season. Facebook has every desire to restrict this kind of speech. They don't like it. It's bad for their share price. It's bad for their bottom line. It's bad for their press. It doesn't matter who you are. And you know what? I don't see any high-profile people on the left rushing to the defense and making sure people see this art. No, you've just been removed. There's two things to consider. Fortunately for Lauren, the conservatives are going to rally behind her, and they're going to defend her because they've been under assault for so long. More importantly, though, Lauren is high-profile. She has 712,000 subscribers on her page, meaning she has a lot of diehard fans who are going to seek out, and they're going to see this, and they're going to make an uproar about it, and then YouTube can only do so much. Did YouTube actually delete her video? I don't know, right? I still want to believe it was a mistake, but it's very weird. They took her video. Like, what can I say? YouTube just made the video unavailable. I watched the video. I actually watched it. It was here. Then it was gone. Are we going to sit here and assume that taking this down was an accident, was a mistake, was a glitch when it was up and available? I don't think so. But I do think I think it's possible it was a glitch. Sure, maybe. But I do think that after this huge uproar, Lauren was able to re-upload and they couldn't do anything about it. So here's the issue for this artist. She is not famous. She does not have the reach of Lauren. There's something dangerous in the future. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, these big tech monopolies, they can't do anything about people who are already famous. If you're already famous, it's hard to censor you. They did, Milo, Paul Joseph Watson, etc., because they'll, if they have to, if the press is bad enough, they'll do it anyway. But there are certain individuals, people like me, who aren't nearly as controversial as someone like Lauren or Paul or Alex Jones. They can't just outright censor me. That would be going too far. But they can absolutely stop smaller personalities like me from gaining traction. And this is where I want to point out the excellent work of Popular Front and Jake Hanrahan and how he is being negatively impacted by the calls for censorship. And we'll talk about the true ramifications. Listen, by all means, you are allowed to laugh at this anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, artist who wants to ridicule Trump for getting censored, for weeks being unable to access her Facebook page. By all means, laugh. I won't. Okay, I will defend her free speech, but I recognize how you reap what you sow. There's a catharsis here. Seeing this, people aligned with the more censorious left being censored, you laugh about it. Me, I do think it's funny, absolutely. But I will absolutely defend her right to post these things and criticize Donald Trump. Facebook doesn't care. That's wrong. Facebook should not be allowed to police your opinions, whether you're pro or anti-Trump. But let's talk about why this is not good. I get it. We all know that it's funny to see the people who want censorship getting censored, and we all do recognize it's still bad and they still have a right to speech. But here's the thing. Jake Hanrahan made a documentary about Ukrainian anarchist militants, far-left extremists, and guess what happened? The video was age-restricted. Sure, you might argue, well, hold on, man. This is some pretty adult stuff that Jake is showing us, but Jake's done work for Vice News. Why is Vice News allowed to publish this stuff, but other people aren't? Smaller creators aren't. Why is it that Jake Hanrahan is getting censored and Vice News isn't? This is the inherent terrifying future. Big corporations will be allowed to do whatever they want, and small creators will be restricted. I'm probably safe because I also have a history of working for big companies, ABC News, Univision, Vice, etc. And now I have a lot of followers. So if they try to censor me, I make a stink about it. I've put up videos that have been restricted, and I make a stink about it. And sure enough, everyone comes and says, not okay, and then it gets reversed. I've had false copyright strikes. Fortunately for me, you guys follow me, and when this stuff happens, you hear about it. But what about someone like Jake who does good, neutral, objective reporting? His report on Ukrainian anarchist militants wasn't pro or anti anything about them. He was just showing that these people exist and here's what they do. He talks about the far right in that video. Why is his video getting restricted? Why was his channel age restricted? Why are these big corporations not? Ultimately, the fear is independent creators will have no choice but to toe the line to the big corporations if they want to get access. That's what's happening. Popular Front, this is Jake Hanrahan's brand. YouTube has blocked monetization for our whole channel before we even applied for it. So much for supporting independent creators. This is why censorship is truly, truly dangerous. Look, you know what, man? If you're pro-censorship and you think the far right should be censored, I've just shown you how that censorship has emboldened Lauren Southern and helped her out. It didn't work. I've just showed you how an artist who opposes Donald Trump has had her Facebook page disabled. The censorship didn't work. And now, an actual journalist who has nothing to do with any of this culture war nonsense is having his YouTube channel restricted, can't get monetization, the videos are age restricted. Why? This is the real problem. Okay? It's backfired to a ridiculous degree. So if you're a conservative, if you're on the right, you're probably laughing the whole time we record this. Why? Lauren Southern's views are way up. Anti-Trump artist completely censored. It sounds like the censorship problem has only been beneficial to conservatives, at least for now. And then there's the other issue I often bring up, that if these social media sites are only cleaning up the right, they're banning and censoring the more extreme factions of people on the right, the left looks insane because their crazes are left to run around and do whatever they want. And the right looks, clean and well taken care of. These censors are cleaning up the right and making the right look better. Now, ultimately, I believe in free speech. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying, hey, God closes the door, he opens a window. Ultimately, I will end with this, okay? I'll just wrap everything up. I know I don't want to repeat myself, but I will just give us a wrap up. Far left activists censored. Well, you reap what you sow. Conservative journalist, activist, etc., pundit, whatever you're going to call Lauren Southern, views increased dramatically following the censorship because of the Streisand effect. It didn't work. How do they not realize this? And finally, Jake Hanrahan does a great job. He should not be censored. And I'll say this too, follow Popular Front on YouTube if you want some good, actual journalism. Jake does a good job. He's not on anyone's side, and that's why I respect him. He's not pro-Trump. He's not, he's just kind of straight, straight shooter, good journalist. So I recommend checking out Popular Front on YouTube. And ultimately, I'll leave it to you with Will Chamberlain's question. Is social media access, platform access, a civil right? Comment below, let me know what you think. You can follow me on Minds at Timcast. Again, if you want to support my work, if you want to support my work, timcast.com/donate. I'll end the segment here. I'm really frustrated by the absurdity of all this. Here's a perfect track showing you how it just does not work. So maybe it's a civil right. Maybe that's the answer. I will see you all in the next segment. Thanks for hanging out. And youtube.com/TimCastNews at 6 p.m. For the rest of you, it'll be starting shortly.